What's up, guys? It's Alexis, Ecom Degree's brand strategist, and today I have the honor of speaking with Edgar Hernandez, who is an Ecom Degree student and has been with us since summer of 2021. Edgar started taking Amazon FBA more seriously about 3 months ago, and within his first month, he has already seen over $10,000 in sales and is doing daily sales. So, Edgar, I'm going to ask you a few questions. First one is, when did you become interested in e-commerce?
So I think I began first really focusing on the ecom side of things. It was like summer of 2021, so like June, July-ish. That's when I started looking into it, and I joined Ecom Degree. I believe it was in July of 2021. So it's only been maybe not even a year since I've been a part of ecom.
Right. Okay. So as soon as it piqued your interest, you acted immediately and you joined Ecom Degree?
Yes. I mean, I saw the videos that, Will posted. I've been following his Instagram for quite some time, and it wasn't until I took action in July. But yeah, definitely. Once I saw the videos, I started seeing like the way that the e-com business works, the Amazon side of things. I immediately thought to myself, like, this is something that I think I can do. And yeah, so far I have been doing it.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Would you say you were a little hesitant at first about like Amazon FBA?
Yeah, I think the part where I was hesitant the most, it wasn't necessarily like making the investment or navigating like Amazon. I think it was creating the business side of things, like creating like the LLC and getting with the state and all that stuff. I think because I didn't know anything about that, I was very hesitant to even like look into it. So I think that's kind of where I think I took most of my time, was just getting the business started. But once I created my business, I created my LLC, got my EIN number and all that stuff, everything else is pretty smooth.
Okay, so smooth sailing from there. Would you say like you were skeptical at all?
I don't think so. No, because I've seen other people doing that side of things, like the e-com and like the Amazon business. So I knew I mean, there was a lot of potential in that business. I think for me, it was just more of seeing it to believe it. So I wasn't really skeptical, but I was like, let me try it to see if it works. And yeah, I mean, it works.
It works, right? That's awesome. So, what would you say to the people that are skeptical? Because there definitely are people out there that don't really understand Amazon FBA, don't understand what Ecom Degree has to offer. So, what would you say to those people?
Um, I think I think the one thing I would recommend is just try it out. I mean, there really isn't anything to lose out of this. Yeah, you may lose a couple of, bucks if, let's say, you start the business and then you choose not to do it. The way that I always looked at it, it was, sometimes, in previous years, I would go out to like bars, hang out with friends, and, spend money on that. But then the next day, I don't really get anything out of it. It was I just kind of just partied almost.
Yeah.
With the business side of things, I said, you know what, let me just take some time to invest that same amount of money into this. Take a shot at it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, like I said, you don't lose anything. You tried it, it's not for you, it's not for you. But if you try it and you see numbers and you're seeing that, this actually works, you can make money off of this. It could potentially be life-changing. I think a lot of people in the ecom degree, it changed their life. And I think I'm a product of that. Like my mindset has shifted into, I want to be a business owner. I want to focus on this. So, I would say that'll probably be my best advice to them, is just try it out. Worst come to worst is, you step away and you can at least say that I gave it a shot.
Absolutely. Wondering what if is going to sit in the back of your mind forever if you don't, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way that I always thought. I'm like, had I implemented the same procedures that I'm doing now a year, 2 years ago, I mean, who knows where I could have been at today. But it's never too late. I'm starting it now, and I'm glad that I did. And yeah, I would recommend for others, like if you are interested, take that shot, invest a little bit of money, and who knows, it could potentially change your life.
Right. Awesome. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what product are you running on Amazon?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I have two products actually. So one of them is like a joint cream pain. So it's essentially that you just like rub it on you. It helps ease muscle pain, spasms, and stuff like that. The other one is like a vitamin. It's only like a daily vitamin, kind of replace like vitamin A and vitamin C and stuff like that. And so those are two that I've been pretty successful with from the jump. When I first started my Amazon business, the store, I started selling that joint cream, and that one did fairly well. It started selling, and then it wasn't until I started kind of looking into other products, and then that's when I ended up looking into the vitamins, and those two have been doing very well for me. So mainly like the health side of stuff.
Right. Okay. And what are your profit margins?
Um, I mean, Right now it is a little bit lower because I'm running out of product.
Oh,
But every week I make anywhere from, I mean, 1,000, 2,000. Most of the time, I'm winning the buy box, so that's been pretty well as far as my sales. So I would say it's roughly around there.
okay. So you said you immediately started making sales whenever you were selling the joint cream?
Yeah, yeah, that one did fairly well. I wouldn't say I got lucky because I did do my research. I did my due diligence. I made sure that the product was selling. So when I bought the product, as soon as it got into like the Amazon warehouse, once it was checked in, I want to say within like a day or two, I was already seeing numbers. And then when I made that bigger investment to get more products, that's when I started winning the buy box and I started making like thousands each week.
Wow. Okay. So but you definitely did like product research before running anything.
I did. Yeah. So pretty much everything that was on the ecom degree training, I followed that to a T. I looked at different programs. But then I think one of the things that helped me the most, and it's definitely, an advice that I would give anybody, is just look at it from like a customer standpoint. Because that's what when I previously to this, I was always shopping on Amazon. Like that was my old go-to. Just I like the convenience of its
Yeah.
prime delivery. So I was looking at it from a customer standpoint. Like if I'm a customer, like would I buy this? What am I looking into it? Looking at the description, looking at the reviews, looking at the photos that people are posting up. So, all of that stuff. Um, and so when I was doing my research, yes, I was looking at the numbers. I was looking how many sales it would make, but I was also looking at the Amazon listing itself. Like, how does it look? Does it attract me as a customer? And I think that helped me a lot. As to finding my winning product. So it wasn't just, finding a product, put it like in the Jungle Scout and saying, oh, wow, like this product does 20,000 a month. I'm going to buy it and
Hmm.
just kind of everything. I think that's where people kind of tend to make those mistakes and they don't realize that so many other things kind of play a part into it.
Right, right. They get like really caught up on the business side, the seller side, that they forget to even look at the consumer standpoint. That's a very
Exactly.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that people overlook is that just as much as people buy stuff, people return things. And I think that when someone makes a big investment into products, let's say they invest a couple thousand, um, on their Seller Central, it's showing that they're selling that stuff. They're making, wow, I made 2,000, 3,000, but they don't really show the behind the scenes of like the returns, like how many returns they're getting. So their profits, they only end up making a couple $100 as opposed to a couple thousands. And they say, well, this doesn't work. This is a fluke. But there's a lot that goes into it. So I think, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just understanding the consumer part of stuff, but also the seller part of stuff.
Awesome. And so I know we already said that you joined Ecom Degree back in the summer of 2021. And then December of 2021, 3 months ago, was when you started looking into Amazon. Do you feel that Ecom Degree was necessary in your success?
Yes, I would definitely, I agree with that. It definitely kind of pushed me in the right direction. It kind of gave me that one, it gave me the motivation to even do it. But secondly, it also kind of gave me like the blueprint to follow. Like these are the steps that I need to do. Had I not done it, I feel like I would have struggled a lot more.
Mhm.
But the program itself is great. I mean, it kind of tells you everything step by step. I still did some research myself because, I'm from California. So the program doesn't really go into specifics as far as what you need to do in the state of California. So
Mhm.
there was research that I had to do, but it wasn't like it's the most difficult thing. I think overall the program just it gave me the steps to follow. I followed them, and it went well. So yeah, I would agree and say that it was definitely necessary for me to join the program and join the team to be where I'm at.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, so, are you still working?
Yes. So I still do have a 9 to 5. It's a Monday through Friday job. So I have, the evenings, I have the weekends, and I am using my 9 to 5 to fund my business.
Mhm.
At some point, I would like to leave that 9 to 5 and just focus on just, the e-com side of stuff.
Right.
Uh,
We're gonna get there.
yeah, no, definitely. I'm confident I will. Seeing how just kind of things are going, I'm confident I will. But as of right now, it's just at 9 to 5 that I do work Monday through Friday.
So you would say that running an Amazon store and working a 9 to 5 and learning about e-commerce in general, you can balance it all, right? It's not hard to balance, it's not hard to maintain.
Um, it's not very difficult to maintain, but I do think that it does require dedication. Like you have to be wanting this to work. So I do like to in the beginning. I mean, right now things are smoothing out, but in the beginning, like the first couple of weeks it was tough because you work my 9 to 5, but sometimes I don't work till 5. Sometimes I work till 6. Sometimes till 7. So I stay a little bit later. But then I have to do product research. I have to look into that stuff, and that takes time, and just obviously learning how to use like Amazon Seller Central. So in the beginning, I was staying up late. It was a little bit of a struggle for me because I stayed up till 11, 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So doing both of them can be challenging at times. It can be a little bit of a struggle, but one of the things for me, I just remember my why. Like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I sacrificing my sleep to do this business? So right now that I have things a little bit under control, and I have things like on kind of like on a smooth scale where things are kind of working itself, it's a little bit easier for me. But in the beginning weeks, it was a little bit of a struggle, but it's definitely doable. But I think anybody who's doing this would say that, you have to put in the work. You have to be dedicated, you have to be motivated, and you have to want this. Otherwise, you're going to start giving up.
100%. And I think a lot of times people don't see success like in their first week. And that is when they come to the conclusion that, oh, this isn't for me, this doesn't work. But I like how you said you have to remember your why, and that keeps you up at night, that keeps you pushing, that keeps you going. So that was a great piece of advice. What would you say that your biggest challenge was? Like, what's your biggest obstacle? How did you overcome it? How was that?
I think for me, my biggest obstacle would be just learning everything. So I think I'm one of those people that I'll kind of push things off because either I'm scared or I'm just intimidated. So I'm hesitant, right? I'm a little hesitant to even jump into it. And so I think that was a struggle for me, was just starting it, like creating the Amazon Seller Central and buying products, researching. I could do that from my home, but you have to like look into like the business side, like creating the LLC and getting with the state and registering all that stuff. Like all that seemed like, okay, this is too businessy for me. Like I work a 9 to 5, and I don't know how to create a business. I don't know anything about that. So I felt like that was a little bit difficult for me to begin, just because I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, I'm not gonna really deal with that. And there are programs that they do everything for you, but I decided to say, you know what, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be 100%. And so I did all the work. So I did the research. I created the business. I got with the state, registered, all that stuff. So I would say for me, like, that was the biggest hurdle I had to overcome. Once I got all the paperwork, everything was just inputting into the system and pretty much taking off from there. So I would say for me, it was just that creating the business in the beginning was probably it.
Yeah. So you were afraid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I was afraid, but I was just kind of just like whatever's about it. I was like, like I'll do it eventually. I'll do it at some, because like I said, I've been following Will's page for a while, and so I was the things that he was saying, but I was like, I'll get to it at some point. So I was just kind of pushing it off, really.
Yeah. Okay. I do that a lot too. So I'm sure a lot of people actually do that, but I think definitely having Ecom Degree and having like that community, it really just pushes you over the edge and makes you do it.
Yeah. When I first joined, I looked at previous conversations. If I see lots of people joining, and I see lots of people, even right now at the chat, people have questions like, hey guys, what's up with this? And everyone's really helpful. Everyone helps. But, seeing that other people are just in the same boat as me, like they don't know what they're doing. Like they're starting this. Like it kind of gave me that reassurance. Like, okay, like I'm not in the wrong place. I don't, we're all still learning. So, yeah, it definitely gave me that extra push to just like, okay, let's figure this out. And so, yeah.
Yeah, our community is awesome. I feel like it is unbeatable. With that being said, what is your favorite part about Ecom Degree?
Um, Well, for me specifically, I would say my favorite part is just the learning part of things. Like I like learning as much as I like to push things off. Like if something catches my interest, like I like learning about it. I legit spend hours looking into everything, looking at different websites, comparing things. And so I enjoy the research part of things. Like that's where I feel like I like to spend most of my time with it. And I don't have to. I'm not saying everyone has to, but specifically for me, like that's what I enjoy. Like the business itself, the Amazon store, it runs itself. So once you send products to Amazon, Amazon does the FBA part of things, and you pretty much just sit back and just let Amazon worry about that. So that's pretty simple. But I like looking into other products, comparing them to different manufacturers, to different sellers. How much can I negotiate with the price? Can I get it cheaper here and there? So I enjoy that stuff. And my 9 to 5 specifically, like my morning job, I mainly deal with a lot of account management and employee management.
Okay.
So creating business for the company. So I feel like that kind of helps me in a way. So I know how to communicate with like the different suppliers, and pretty much building a relationship with that. So I think that helps me, and I think some of the tools and some of like the work experience that I have in like my morning job, I can implement them to the business side of things and just create those relationships. So I have the most fun, and I enjoy doing that the most.
Well, that's good. You should absolutely be able to love what you do.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say was the most helpful piece of advice that Ecom Degree gave you?
I think the advice that kind of helped me the most was that specific piece. What I mentioned earlier was understanding my why, remembering my why, and I think that's one of the modules that even Will talked about too.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
honestly, like, I never really thought about my why. I've always thought about things, that I want to do, things I want to achieve. Like for example, like my family, helping, support them as best as I can, and just other parts of stuff. But I never really understood my why. Like I guess I never really asked myself that, so I didn't get it. But I think understanding my why was a very important piece into it, because it kind of helped me put me back in place whenever I was like slacking off, or whenever I was like catching myself getting a little lazy. It was just remembering that why. Like, okay, like I can't be messing around. Like I have to get back to it. So I think that was a very important piece to consistently remind myself, and yeah, I mean, it still helps me to this day.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people tend to overlook their why. They're kind of just focused on the money. But as soon as things get tough, you have to go back to that module and figure out what your why is, figure out why you're staying up all night working towards a life, towards a better life for you and your family. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're almost done here. I have like two more questions for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend Ecom Degree to anyone? Do you feel it would best benefit a person that's just getting started? Do you still think it could benefit those who kind of already know their way around e-commerce a little bit? Or what type of person would you recommend Ecom Degree to?
Um, I think both. I think for those who are just getting started, so the ones that they don't know anything about this, like I did. I didn't know anything about this, um, you know, last year really. I would recommend for those that are looking into the e-commerce, and even for those who are already in the e-com and they're still having difficult navigating things, or still having trouble understanding certain things. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it to them specifically because the modules they go into detail very well. I mean, they explain things, almost in depth. um and even myself, there are times when, like, for example, first when I first went listed my product back in December, and then I bought more products and I listed them in January, I kind of forgot a little bit on how to do it,
Mhm.
just so recent. So I went back to the modules and I reviewed them, and I saw the videos again. And that kind of just, made things click, and I was like, oh, that's right. So even myself to this day, I still use them. I still go back and I still review. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it for those that are looking into starting it, or for those that are even in it and they still don't really understand it. Yeah, the program and the modules themselves, they go in depth. They're really well placed together.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one thing I love about it because I literally have the worst memory ever, but then I can just log in, click on the video, and I
Yeah,
know what to do.
yeah,
Um, so, our
yeah.
last question to wrap up this interview: what piece of advice would you give to those who have not gotten into e-commerce yet?
Um, yeah, I mean, I was like, it's like I mentioned earlier, the one advice I would say is, like, if you're looking into this and you want to do it and it's something that's caught your interest, you're just hesitant or you're scared or whatever, the one advice I'll say, just try it. You really don't have anything to lose. And it's actually a conversation I had with my sister when I first started the e-com. I remember that I had told her like about this and something I wanted to do. And my sister had actually told me, she was like, just do it. I mean, like, worst comes to worst is if you get fired or you quit your job, like, you have the experience to do that somewhere else, like another 9 to 5. Like, this business stuff is just, it's not like it's like one in a lifetime, but it's like you've never done it before. and like you don't really know it, so just do it. You know, you obviously want to do it, so like it's just do it. So that would be my recommendation. It's just you really don't have anything to lose. Like I said earlier in the beginning of video, it's like, you know, take those funds that you would normally spend like on a weekend, or if you buy yourself clothes and whatever the case is, just, you know, sacrifice what you need to invest in the business. If things don't go well, if you don't, if this isn't for you, or if you don't, you're not liking it, then that's it. You know, you tried it and you can at least say you did it. But who knows that it could potentially be a life-changing experience, and you can make a living off of this. And so that would probably be my only advice. Just try it out, you know, just try it out and see how it goes for you.
Great. Yeah, just try it. Just do it. Who cares, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what Nike logo is,
Yeah.
just I mean, they have to look for a reason. So, right, yeah, just do it. You know,
Well, I
worst comes
love
to
that. I love that you talked to your sister about it and she reassured you. I think that's awesome. Getting like a second opinion, you know, it helps a lot. But I really enjoyed our conversation today. I think you dropped some amazing gems that a lot of other people are going to be able to learn from. This was a great interview. This was my first $10,000 hit interview. And I look forward to interviewing you once again once you hit that $100,000 goal.
no, definitely. I appreciate you making the time. And yeah, I'm gonna hit that 100K before the end of the year. So
Absolutely.
I already
Before
said
the end
it.
of the year? Before the end of the year?
Yeah, before the end of before my 1 year mark, I think, because I started my Amazon business in like close to the end of December.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I want to say like before December, like before like mid-December, like right when I started my store. So I'm gonna aim for that, my 1 year mark, make that 100K, and that's something I've kind of been telling myself for a while, where I was like, I'm gonna make 100K at least before the end of the year. So I'm
Well,
gonna make
let's
it happen.
do it. Let's do it. Let's put it in writing. Let's go ahead and schedule our next interview because you're definitely going to have different trials while hitting that 100K goal. You're going to have different advice that you could give to people. So I look forward to that then. I'm going to hold you to it.
Yeah, no, definitely, we'll make it happen for sure. It's in the air. It's said. It's gonna happen. So,
All
yeah,
right.
another interview for sure. Hopefully, if I get the chance to, then yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Edgar. I'm going to wrap this thing up and stop the recording. Thank you.
Very much. I appreciate it.